Expected this afternoon and tomorrow. What you and your student athletes need to prepare for and when to plan on that fall rain jacket this week.
Britain and the world say a final goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II in a state funeral today, honoring the monarch's 70-year reign. Ahead of a hearing in Jefferson City this afternoon, we're laying out the details of a proposal to make sports betting legal in Missouri, why the governor says it's unlikely to pass. First, though, we are following some breaking news. We have now learned the U.S. Department of Justice is launching an investigation into the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Chief Joseph Mabin says the DOJ is conducting a civil rights investigation into the department's employment practices. Mabin says the department will cooperate fully with the investigation. We are working to uncover more about what sparked this investigation. We'll bring you more information as we get it. And Mayor Lucas is expected to speak coming up at 12:45. We'll have his comments live right here on KMBC. Thanks for joining us today at noon. I'm Kelly Eckerman. First Alert meteorologist Nick Bender is here, and an impact day, and I'm guessing you're going to use the word hot a lot.
Yeah, hot, excessive heat. You know, if this was July or August, we'd expect it. It still is going to alter your plans during the summer, but when you're in the mid and latter part of September, kids are in school, you've got band practice, you've got soccer tournaments, you've got cross-country meets, you've got practices. The heat's going to have a big impact on that, so we need to make sure that we're properly hydrating like it's the middle of July, a hot middle of July day. It's 89 degrees. That heat index value is running at 91 degrees. We have a southwest wind at 10 miles per hour and tons of sunshine, and that sun will just make it feel hotter when you're out there in it. 86 in Cameron, 85 degrees in Chillicothe. It's 90 in Olathe, Paola, Lacine's at 91 degrees, 90s into central Missouri. We look at the rest of your afternoon and your evening, hour by hour. The hottest time of the day where you can expect to feel that record heat is from 2 o'clock this afternoon to 5 o'clock this evening. That's when the temperature will climb above 95 degrees. 95 is the record high for today, and we're predicting to break that by 3 degrees. And it's not just one day, it's 2 days. Today and tomorrow, we're anticipating record high temperatures close to 100 degrees before a big cold front moves in on Wednesday. The temperatures will start to come down and our rain chances will start to go up, Kelly.
After 10 days of national mourning across the UK, Queen Elizabeth II has now been laid to rest. The Queen died September 8th at 96 years old, ending the longest reign of a monarch in British history. Hundreds of dignitaries and heads of state from around the world were inside Westminster Abbey for the funeral service this morning. Millions also watched on screens set up for the public to view the state funeral across the UK. ABC's Faith Abube is in London with the latest.
A solemn procession marking the final farewell to Queen Elizabeth II. Members from every branch of Britain's military on hand for the rare state funeral. The Queen's coffin draped with a royal standard, topped with a wreath of flowers, the imperial crown, scepter, and orb. Pallbearers drawing the gun carriage, carrying the late monarch from Westminster Hall to Westminster Abbey, the church where she was crowned and where she was married. And now, where she is eulogized with hymns and prayers. 2,000 people, including members of the royal family, heads of state, dignitaries, and everyday people in attendance.
Few leaders receive the outpouring of love that we have seen.
King Charles III and the Queen Consort leading members of the royal family and his household in procession. Even the Queen's great-grandchildren, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, walking along the Queen's final journey. The royal family visibly emotional, tears streaming down the King's face as the choir played God Save the King. Bells from London to Windsor tolling through the funeral. Authorities estimate about 1 million well-wishers crowded central London streets to see the pageantry. As the state hearse carried the Queen's coffin from Wellington Arch to Windsor Castle, the national anthem playing. Crowds of mourners watching in silence. Some clapping, a show of respect as the funeral cortege passed by. Floral tributes from the public lining the path at Windsor Castle, leading the Queen to her final resting place. Britain's longest reigning monarch reunited with her late husband, Prince Philip, laid to rest at St. George's Chapel.
And capping the deeply emotional day here in London, the United Kingdom pausing for 2 minutes after the funeral, observing a moment of silence for Her late Majesty. In London, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Here at home, Union Station is honoring the Queen with lights of blue outside the building with the Union Jack projected on the east wing. And there you can see what that looks like as they again honoring the Queen's reign. St. James Anglican Cathedral in Liberty will also be holding a special evensong service for Queen Elizabeth tonight at 5 p.m. The church says an evensong is a combination of prayer, readings, and songs that will be performed with its pipe organ and string duet. In less than an hour, Missouri lawmakers are poised to take up a proposal that would legalize sports betting in the Show Me state. KMBC 9's Matt Evans is here in studio with more details on that bill. Matt?
Yeah, Kelly, this all hinges on a couple of things. The governor and some senators. The Missouri House passed the exact same version of this legislation earlier this year, but it failed in the Senate. Lawmakers have returned to the Capitol for a special session in Jefferson City called by Governor Parson to pass a permanent tax cut for Missourians and agriculture tax credits. But a Warrensburg Republican, Representative Dan Houks, has filed this bill that would legalize sports betting in Missouri. He says there is more urgency now that sports betting is up and legal in Kansas, but also admits that it will be up to the governor.
Although the House did get it done, and over the Senate, some negotiations kind of fell apart in the end, and we weren't able to get it done as a whole body. But I know it's outside the call of the governor's special session call, but I'm hoping that maybe he will expand the call to include sports betting. Myself and House leadership believe that that's a good thing.
Even if the governor does sign on for this becoming an official part of the special session, which the governor's spokesperson told me earlier today is unlikely, it would face the same issues in the Senate over licensing fee disagreements that doomed the bill earlier this year. There is a hearing on the bill scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon that is still continuing in Jefferson City. Kelly?
Thank you, Matt. Kansas City, Missouri police are investigating a man's death they call suspicious. They found a man dead in an apartment near 29th and Wabash about 9:30 last night. Detectives are still trying to figure out how he died. If you have any information that could help police get answers, scan the QR code there on your screen, or you can call the Crime Stoppers Tips Hotline, 816-474-TIPS. Today, former Kansas City, Kansas Police Detective Roger Golubski will go back to court for a hearing. He faces 6 counts of sexual assault against 2 different victims between 1998 and 2002. Prosecutors say the victims were a middle school girl and a mother. They say there were other victims as well. The U.S. Attorney requests that Golubski be held in custody until his trial, saying the crimes were brutal and repeated. Golubski has pleaded not guilty. His hearing today is set for 3 o'clock this afternoon. The murder trial of David Youngerman is still on hold. Jurors were sent home Friday because one of them was potentially exposed to COVID-19. Youngerman is accused of killing attorney Tom Pickert outside Pickert's Brookside home in 2017. We were in the courtroom all last week listening to testimony from experts, officers, and family members. We'll provide updates when testimony continues. The race for Kansas governor came to Johnson County Sunday. The Republican running Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt got support from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. At a rally in Olathe, both politicians focused on education, saying parents should have more rights when it comes to what their children learn in schools. They also hit on a number of campaign talking points like gender identity, critical race theory, and trans athletes in girls' sports. Schmidt says one of the first things he would do in office is sign a Parents' Bill of Rights.
Our kids will benefit from that. Nothing is more important than our kids. We must put kids and parents first.
Protesters said DeSantis doesn't represent Kansas values, pointing to what happened last week when DeSantis sent a plane load of migrants to Martha's Vineyard, promising work and shelter. Protesters say they don't want those ideals in their state.
It's sad that Derek Schmidt needs to rely on outside support, folks from out of state to campaign for him for governor, when there's a huge movement of folks here in Kansas lining up to support Governor Kelly.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly's campaign sent out a statement saying in part, unlike Derek Schmidt, who has to bring out-of-state divisive politicians to Kansas for support, Governor Kelly's common sense leadership has built a bipartisan coalition of support from Kansans. Flash flood warnings have been issued for most of Puerto Rico as Hurricane Fiona continues to make its way across the island. The governor of Puerto Rico is calling the damage catastrophic, but says they are ready with enough resources to respond. It's been nearly 5 years now to the day since Hurricane Maria, which killed nearly 3,000 people. Floodwaters are sweeping away cars, even bridges. The National Hurricane Center says more rain is on the way. Currently, the entire island is still without power. That's 1.5 million people. And World Central Kitchen is getting ready to help those affected by the hurricane. It has teams stationed in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Video showing their volunteers making sandwiches, preparing to hand out to people once the storm passes. And we have had a pretty quiet year up to now, but always hard to see the damage those do.
It is, and we still have another 2 weeks left in September, and then October. The rest of hurricane season is about another 6 weeks. You still get some just tremendously powerful storms there across the Atlantic Basin, down into the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico over the next 6 weeks. As Kelly mentioned, for the most part, it's been quiet. But it only takes one bad storm to make a bad year, and we hope that doesn't happen, or we hope that it doesn't get worse. We've already had that one bad storm. Now we're looking at rain chances here in Kansas City. We just have a tremendous amount of summer-like heat today and tomorrow. When will it feel like fall? That's the question I'm getting asked. Here it comes. Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening, a cold front will come in from the north. We'll have a switch to northerly wind. You see that green on the screen? That's forecast rainfall, like what the radar would look like Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So we need to change our shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops in for rain jackets, maybe insulated rain jackets that have some warmth to them, because it will get chilly. It's hard to say that for Thursday. So we look at our rainfall chances Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're lower chances right now, but I imagine at least one of those days, like Wednesday into Thursday, we'll start to see that rain chance increase in the coming days. Kelly.
After a rough year of international relations, the United Nations is preparing to meet for its General Assembly. Next at noon, the two major global conflicts Western leaders are expected to tackle. A national battle over immigration comes to a head with busloads of migrants transported to states across the country. Why officials in one state say they are getting federal investigators involved. And there is only one undefeated team for college football in Missouri and Kansas right now. Spoiler alert, it's not Mizzou or K-State. Coming up, we'll take a look at how teams on both sides of the border performed, and we'll have a preview of the games coming up this weekend.
Honored as the Station of the Year in Kansas and the Station of the Year in Missouri, KMB.